Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another HD broadcast, and today we are going to be looking at another game of oGs.TheStC. And I do have to apologize, I said I wasn't going to do any more Zerg versus Terran, but I have to do one more Zerg versus Terran, I thought. And so this is going to be the last one I'll do for a couple of games. I think I'll go back to doing some Protoss games. But anyways, we've seen a lot of STC lately in the last couple of weeks, and this isn't going to be any different. Going to be oGs.TheStC versus his clanmate oGs.Cool. At least I think this is Cool. I might be mistaken, but I'm 80% sure this is Cool. So yeah, very cool. oGs.Cool is going to be the red Zerg, spawning at the 2 o'clock position on LT, and it is going to be once again a Zerg versus Terran. Overlord moving over to the top position, going to find that his opponent did not spawn in that location, STC. And I do want to say this positional spawn point really favors the Zerg player a little bit. They're able to expand over down here and control this entire bottom crescent of the map, so look for Cool to play a macro base build, but you never know, he might just go for one base play. We see a lot of that from the Korean players who like to emphasize a lot of early aggressive play. Meanwhile, STC going to be blocking off his front with the supply and the barracks. Relatively standard opening here, getting the gas right after the barracks goes down on 12 barracks, 13 gas. Overlord starting to move over to the other position. We don't have any scouting drones for Cool, so that's a little bit interesting because usually a Zerg player on a 4-player map will send out a drone as well, but I think he's okay. He's not too worried about any kind of a proxy or cheese from his opponent because they are clanmates after all. And it looks like he is going to be going for some kind of a one-base build here, at least until around 22-23 supply, and then he'll probably throw down that hatchery. Notice he's not saving any eggs for Zerglings, so he's just getting this spawning pool, and most likely gonna have 100 gas right when the pool finishes for speed. Meanwhile, the income tab showing both players even, of course, nothing too differing right there. We do have a tech lab going down, so we might see a Reaper. Yeah, there's a Reaper coming out. Not any kind of an early Reaper, fairly standard one Reaper opening, just to see what kind of play the Zerg is up to, and mainly going to be using that Reaper for scout and slight harass. Speed for metabolic boost is on the way right now. We don't have a second hatchery going up. The drones have been pulled off the gas, so that's very characteristic of good players. And oh, look at that, we have nitro packs being researched for STC. Very interesting, because this is such a, it's not like a fast Reaper or anything like that, but he's still getting nitro packs, and he's getting a second Reaper on the way. So it looks like he is going to commit to getting a couple of Reapers out, and he's going to see what kind of damage he can do. But Zerglings with speed can deal with Reapers fairly easily, and it looks like we did have a hatchery go down around 22 supply. Speed is almost done being researched, and here comes the first Reaper along with an SCV. Look for a bunker to be erected right outside this natural expansion, and the Reaper to abuse the Queen and keep the Queen away from the SCV. Here we go. SCC going to be throwing up the bunker behind the Vespine gas. No, decides to delay that, and the Zergling's going to come in here from the south side. The speed is nearly done. And of course, once the speed finishes, the Zerglings are going to be able to swarm and defeat the Reaper quite easily. The speed for Reapers is almost done as well. And here comes STC, is going to try to come inside the main base and do some drone harass. One drone almost getting taken out, and the speed finishing just in time to take out that Reaper. Nice from Cool, keeping the Reaper harass propelled and keeping it back. And it looks like STC is going to have to find another avenue of attack. His speed is finished for his Reapers, but I think now it might be wise to stop producing the Reaper, bunker up, and yeah, maybe even throw down a second barracks and finish off the wall off, because now the Speedlings are here and they can be very deadly against these Reapers. And it looks like, oh, it looks like STC is gonna get caught out of position, losing one of his Reapers. The second Reaper here gonna try to hop up the cliff, and it is gonna make it up in time. The bunker finishes critically enough, and that's gonna allow STC to hop inside the bunker and keep this command center going and keep it alive. So he is going to be able to secure that expansion. And excuse me, not another barracks going up, it's actually a factory. Notice how he's positioned it right where the tech lab is, and of course Cool with great scouting is going to see the barracks and the factory on the tech lab, so he knows exactly what is coming right here. And it looks like STC did eventually build that bunker down to the bottom right hand corner, so we'll see what Cool decides to make of that. A lot of early aggression in this game thus far. And we don't see any kind of a tank or Hellions coming out, and it looks like it is going to be Hellions with that pre-igniter upgrade to deal with the Speedlings. So STC here really getting the units he needs to deal with the composition of the Zerg player. A second factory going down. The barracks is still here, and we have an in-base hatchery. Actually, not in-base, but right here at the natural door, which I really like this positioning of the hatchery. This is going to make it much more difficult for Hellions to run by into the main base because they have to deal with this run around up to the ramp. So I really like that positioning. And we also have a Baneling Nest and a Roach Warren going down for Cool as well. So he's really opening up the tech tree. I like this play. He's getting a second geyser. The Roaches are going to be able to deal with the Hellions very easily, and the Banelings are going to be able to deal with any kind of marine support on the ground, as well as possibly busting through this wall. We have an armory going up for STC, and he's going to try to get a Thor out. So a lot of avenues opening up for all these players. A couple of Banelings morphing into the north. Looks like some of the Speedlings getting caught out of position here by the two Hellions from SEC. He's going to be pushing forward, and it looks like, oh, we have the Banelings coming in here for Cool, and he's going to try to kill as many SCVs as he can, but look at that. Great reaction from STC, pulling his workers away as soon as he saw the Banelings, and this is the hallmark of any good Zerg player or any player in general, able to pull their forces away as soon as they see threat to their mineral lines. But these Hellions gotta be careful. They do not want to get surrounded by the Speedlings, running back to the cover of the bunker. The Banelings trying to get in to do whatever damage they can, but the Hellions with a pre-igniter are gonna burn away all these Banelings, getting taken out right there, and all the SCVs survive to mine another day. Great reaction from STC, great micro to minimize the loss of his units, in fact not taking any damage whatsoever, and the Zerg player Cool is going to have to make something happen. It looks like his front door is relatively secure with this in-base or in-natural hatchery. Comstat going down to reveal what kind of corridor the Terran player can attack, but really there is no possible avenue. I'd like to see maybe a spine crawler right here. It looks like we have a third hatchery going up for Cool, so Cool here is playing very well, securing as much macro advantage as he can, and of course securing that front door. He's also morphing in more Banelings, really keeping the aggression on STC. STC almost losing this Hellion, one Hellion getting taken out, and it looks like the second one is going to survive. Here's the real threat though, these two Banelings morphing in while they are morphing, and in fact Banelings are quite resilient against the flamethrower. That's a little surprising. They didn't die to a couple of those flamethrower shots, but looks like the Banelings are going to run away and wait for another time to attack. We have Glial Reconstitution being researched for the Roaches, which is going to immensely help their move speed. Interestingly, we don't have centrifugal hooks being